I put a spell on you. Because you're mine.
Okay, stay calm. I'm inside a base full of heavily armed troopers. If this guy gives me shit, then he's gonna get shot on himself. Of course, I'll get caught in the blast zone, but hey, either way, he's screwed. So, this is a cozy little room you have here. If it was up to me, I would just lock you in here and throw away the key, but alas, I'm not in charge. What are you looking at? Wait, that wasn't one-way glass? Oh great, so you can hear and see the whole conversation I just had with Boyd. That's just perfect.
What an ugly little worm you are. What pile of excrement did the lieutenant pluck you from, worm?
Huh, wow, you're going straight for the jugular there. Insults on both my looks and background? How strong are your kneecaps? Because I might just have to grab that drill after all. But we can get back to that once you've told me everything you know.
Of course. All you had to do was ask. I'll tell you everything I know. Let's see. I know that you're a brainless cretin. I know that you're wasting your time. I know the lieutenant is going to be disappointed in you. And I know that by this time next month, the streets of New Vegas will be decorated with the decaying heads of NCR soldiers. Is there anything else you wanted to know?
Oh, there's plenty more I want to know. One of which is how much blood I can drain from your ball sacks without actually killing you. But I admit, that's more of a curiosity on my part. No, what I'm more interested in is how many troopers it took to take you alive. Because I've dealt with your kind before, and it's pretty difficult. Don't get me wrong, it's piss easy killing you people, but capturing one alive? That must have been quite a sight.
You must have some reason to be in your line of work. Tell me, what did the Legion do to you? Did we enslave your children? Slaughter your family before your eyes to teach you a lesson? Whatever it was, I hope I was there to give the order.
You want to know why I do what I do? Let me tell you something about the way I work. Since I came here, I've met plenty of people who either pisses me off or have no reason to exist as far as I'm concerned. But I'm okay with that. No, the people I kill are those who fit in both categories. Are you getting the picture now? Do we have an understanding now? If your little band of fake Romans never crossed me, then I might have let you live. But you didn't. So for that, I will never stop hunting you. Unfortunately, it looks like your troops decided to kill themselves rather than wait for the inevitable. Maybe you should have done the same.
Foot soldiers of the Legion are trained not to have to think for themselves, to have conflict removed from their minds. They kill themselves to evade capture because they are not trusted to make such a decision rationally in the heat of battle. But I'm no foot soldier. I knew I could escape captivity on my own without revealing the tiniest iota of information to my captors.
But I don't think you can. In fact, I'm not even sure if I'm talking to a human being or just a pile of bullshit that walks like a man. You expect all your little drones to hit the self-destruct button the moment things get hairy, but you don't do it yourself, all in the hopes that the prison guard accidentally trips and throws you the key. Come to think of it, I wouldn't be surprised if First Recon doesn't do something like that. But at the end of the day, you go back to Caesar, claiming you valiantly defeated your foe single-handed when there's no one else alive to say otherwise. Alternatively, you're just too gutless to do what your troops did without a moment's hesitation.
I'll show you gutless, you sniveling bastard. I'll spill your guts all over this room.
Oh, I'd love to see you try, you hey!
Is something the matter, Celus? You look upset. Here, maybe you'd better step out for a moment. You've upset him.
Upset him? Isn't that the point? If this is upsetting, wait till I grab the pliers. But you're the expert.
Your friend is a miserable fucking degenerate.
I can hear you.
I don't know. I thought he seemed like a nice guy.
If we were on the other side of the river, I'd have him torn apart by dogs.
Puppies!
That's a long walk, Celus. I don't think it's gonna happen. You'd better just talk.
Your tactics are a joke.
If you don't like dealing with me, I can bring my friend back in.
Both of you can rot.
Have it your way. Come on back in. I think he misses you.
Already? Oh, come on, I was just putting my gear back on. You have any idea how much torture equipment I have to carry? I might just have to introduce him to some of these guys. So, what's the matter? Are we friends already? I'll be honest, this is the longest conversation I've ever had with a legionary. Usually I just shoot them.
We don't have anything to discuss, worm.
Oh, you're mistaken there. We're gonna talk until I say otherwise. Besides, this is such an opportunity to learn more about you guys. I hope you're comfortable, because I'm gonna be here a while. Let's see. You're a Centurion, which is apparently pretty high up the food chain. I never really cared. You're all just corpses to me. But now I'm curious. Is being a coward a requirement, or is it part of your orientation?
I've faced odds that would make your NCR soldiers wet themselves. I've led charges against men with guns, carrying only my knife. And I can tell you, it was they who feared me. But suicide is a weak death on a battlefield. It says to your enemy that you fear capture. It says if you're caught, you can be broken.
Oh, that should be paradox of the year. If you commit suicide, you fear capture. If you don't, you fear death. Either way, you're a coward. And was I supposed to be impressed with the shit you've done? I've done more than that this morning, let alone my entire life. And let me tell you right now, I'm not afraid to slit my own throat. I just choose not to.
You think I'm going to slit my throat for some megalomaniacal self-appointed dictator? I didn't work my way up to have it all be taken from me out of some irrational paranoia. Caesar's losing it. I believe that. He's been shutting himself in his tent. Privately, he complains of headaches. Whatever it is, it's affecting his ability to lead.
Oh yeah? Well, that sounds frustrating. Do continue.
Time was essential for my mission, but we waited 3 days for him to dispatch us. Another of his headaches. Does that sound like a man in command? He has an operative planted in this very base, but does he use his agent to rescue me? No. He's content to have the agent spend his nights radioing troop positions back to our base camp. He knows I'm here, and he's left me to rot.
Well, that sounds to me like the head of the snake is getting a bit delirious. I'm not surprised if it doesn't care where one of his scales are. Maybe we should have a word with the operative, see why he isn't doing his job. You want to tell me who he is?
I don't know. I know he sends intelligence by radio in the middle of the night. Sometimes that intelligence would find its way to my cantery.
By radio, huh? That's exactly the sort of information I was hoping for. This almost seems too easy. Perhaps you're feeding me bullshit to throw me off. I wouldn't be surprised. We already established your fascination to excrement. Say I don't believe you, and plan to remove your skeleton one bone at a time anyway. What do you say to that?
Then you're a fool. That man reports to Caesar on what I do here. The Legion isn't going to take me back. My only hope is to escape and disappear. But if I escape and he reports it, they'll hunt me down as long as I live. It served me to report him as much as it served you.
That's true. In that case, I have both a time and a possible location to catch this fucker. You see, I knew this conversation was going to be productive, and it worked out for both of us. I'm gonna get paid for catching the operative, and you won't get holes drilled in you. Well, not by me anyway. Boyd might still entertain herself, but that's really none of my concern.
I hope the Legion burns your wretched body at the stake when they conquer this place. Nothing I could tell you would do anything to stop that.
Implying that will ever happen. You guys should be afraid of me. If you weren't locked up in here, you would know that by now. Well, I'm done here. Enjoy your time in the forced labor camp. See what it's like to be on the receiving end.
You got something to say, or do you always look like that?
Hey, I just did you a massive favor, you ungrateful bitch.
You did well. I don't know how you did it without putting a scratch on him, and I'm a little disappointed personally, but it saved the NCR some face. And it could save us more than that when all is said and done. I'm gonna talk to some people when we're through here. This is about double the standard fee we'd give a consultant, but from what I saw, you're more of an artist. So think of this as your commission.
I'm an artist at feeding bullshit back to the bullshitter? Well, thanks, I guess. I didn't have the interrogation on my things to do list this morning, but then again, I barely plan half the shit I do. So I guess I'll come back once I have more info on the operative. We should lock the two of them together in the same cell and watch them fight to the death.
Yep. See you around.
Great. You go ready up the popcorn and I'll work on finding our contestant number 2. It's gonna be a bloodbath, ladies and gentlemen. Who's gonna win? The double agent or the dickhead? Place your bets. Man, that was surreal. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Seriously though, I hope you paid attention. I can solve problems using methods other than pulling a trigger of some sort. I might prefer to use the latter, but we're all entitled to our own preferences. Isn't that right, Veronica?
Am I punching too much? I get carried away.
Look, I don't mind you pulverizing people we don't like. It's actually quite a sight to behold. But what I do mind is when you insist on melee combat during a long-ranged firefight.
Does jumping at them with my fists count as ranged?
What the fuck do you think?
Fine.
So, I guess we should at least check out Corporal White's locker. Although I'm pretty sure even a halfway competent double agent would know better than to disappear completely. I mean, come on, that's something you do when you've accidentally killed someone in a drunken rage, not when you're trying to maintain cover. Christ, is this really the barracks? I mean, holy shit, it's huge, but so's the Grand Canyon, and I wouldn't want to sleep in there. Apparently the brass doesn't know anything about the relationship between creature comforts and troop morale. No wonder that guy went AWOL. Now, this should be his locker. Am I going to find a pair of furry handcuffs in here? I hope not. No, but there's a diary of some sort. A part of me feels bad about going through his personal stuff, but the rest of me are all out of shits to give. Let's see what we have here. September the 15th. Went over to Dazzle's place and pumped that bitch like I did my mother. Okay, moving swiftly on. Latest entry. I pulled the log from the East Pump Station computer for the last week. Looking back over the past several weeks, the times are roughly consistent. There's definitely something going on. Water shouldn't even be going over to the west side, and yet the log says otherwise. I know I'm onto something. West side, south cistern, okay, a bunch of times. I have no fucking clue what this means. Seems to me like this guy was more concerned with hookers and water supply than leaking information. What the fuck is all this crap on the floor? This is a janitor's nightmare. Oh, it's a canteen. Also known as a janitor's nightmare. Yeah, you might want to do something about this, buddy.
Listen, asshole, I know you're not really an NCR health inspector, so you can cut the restaurant critique routine.
I'm sorry?
And I want my 50 caps back. Because I looked it up, and there ain't no disease called colorectal implosion syndrome.
Well, thank fuck.
So I paid you to look the other way for nothing. Wait, you're not... Oh, wow, I'm sorry. You look just like... Never mind, sorry. So what can I serve you up?
Well, what the hell? Were you getting conned by a fake health inspector? And you actually believed in his bullshit?
That's nothing. You just look like the health inspector who stopped through for the yearly inspection a couple of weeks back. I was hoping I wouldn't have to wait another 11 months to see his crooked ass to get my caps back. Ah, well. Anything I can get you?
Well, I was going to order some food, but I'm not sure I want to now. Judging by the state of this place, I wouldn't mind betting you're dishing out a few other diseases, some of which are quite real. And your willingness to bribe the inspector doesn't make you look much better, if I'm honest. But let's pretend I want some food. What have you got?
Oh yeah, you can order up anything you want. As long as it's corn or beans. Just kidding. Haven't you heard? With a few shipments from home and a little variety, the troops are getting restless for some quality grub. You can only do so much as a chef with just corn, beans, onions, and peppers.
Oh god, the colonel warned me about this. So apart from blowing this canteen to smithereens with TNT, what else can we do to improve the food?
Well, we haven't had any quality meat in months. Everyone in the camp just eating beans for protein. It isn't pretty. Some of my kitchen machinery is broken down too, so we've been eating mostly raw vegetables. And I'm desperate for spices or seasonings. Anything, just something for the general mood around here.
And just like that, I've gone from detective to glorified errand boy. Most of what you're asking for isn't even that difficult to solve. I mean, let's start with the meat. Have you seen how many wild animals are out there? The amount of geckos in Good Springs alone would probably be enough to feed you guys for a while. But let me guess, you can't spare the troops, right? Well, go out and buy some if you have to.
It doesn't need to all come from the same source. There are a bunch of different vendors around who sell meat. Fitz, the Nashes, Crimson Caravan. We've never really tried to go out and organize deals with merchants to supply our food. Already having an overstock of food, we haven't needed to. But we really need some good old red meat on the menu soon. So I'm willing to divert some caps in their direction if they're open to supplying us.
Well, I can tell you right now, I'm not sure Ruby Nash can supply an entire army. And while I admit I am curious to try her rat scorpion casserole, I'm not sure you would want to risk poisoning your troops even more. And what was that thing about spices? Have you seen how easily you can grow jalapeno peppers out there? Add some of that to the gecko meat and dinner is served.
The Crimson Caravan would probably be able to arrange a regular shipment, but I don't know of any spices known to improve mood. Hell, we have a whole research department. One guy's even set up in the main terminal building. They're the ones who ought to be looking into it.
Well, that's hardly my problem, is it? Although I have to say, unless spice is code word for drugs, I'm not sure you can actually change someone's disposition by that alone. And you said something about broken machinery? If he needs spare parts, then I wouldn't say so in front of Eddie. He'll get jealous. You see?
Here's the list. We've been scrapping together quick fixes to keep it running for months. I think it finally crapped out and needs a full overhaul. It's the goofy machine behind the counter in the corner next to the stove. I'd be much obliged if you could take a look at it and get it fixed up.
And where am I supposed to find all this shit exactly? Some of this stuff doesn't even make any sense. Fire hose nozzle? Seriously? What the fuck are you cooking with this thing?
I don't know. Try the various traders around the waste. Or the pawn shop in Westside might have some parts. Oh, I've heard of a place called House Tools you could check out. It's an old factory on the north side of Vegas. Just a word of warning, though. I hear no one who goes in there comes back out. Could be traps, crazy robots, or who knows what's in that place.
In that case, I probably won't bother. I mean, risking my life for my friends is one thing, but for the sake of some busted-up cooker? Fuck off! Besides, I'm pretty sure half this stuff isn't even necessary. Tell you what, Veronica can take care of this. She loves fixing up machines, isn't that right?
I like long walks in the desert and candlelit metal workshops. Workbenches are for novices.
In that case, you might as well show her where to work. We'll bring back the parts if we come across any, but otherwise you're just gonna have to make do.
Well.
I'm not even gonna waste my time asking for a payment, because I know you won't be giving me any. Jesus Christ, you actually cook with this thing?
If you need anything, just give me a holler.
What I need right now is some decent food, but I'm guessing you won't be much help there. Honestly, an army marches on its stomach. You don't have to be a military genius to grasp that concept. Until the day we have access to fully robotic armies, food is pretty fucking vital. Alright, we'll be back later to check up on you. Just do what you can, and don't make them suspicious. Okay, back to our investigation. Well, I'm glad to see you're so chilled about the situation, Chef. If I come back and find Veronica hard at work whilst you're taking a nap, I'll drown you in your own special sauce. So now I guess I need to speak to this Contreras person wherever he is. I do like how nobody bothered to give us a tour of this place. My powers of intuition can only take me so far. Fair enough, it might not be a good idea to give a civilian contractor full access to the base. But if you tell me about an individual you want me to speak to, then the least you can do is direct me to him. I hate asking for directions, but I guess I'm gonna have to. Hey there, do you know where I can find—
Did the Colonel send you? I was hoping he might have changed his mind.
Well, actually, the Colonel did send me. Huh, maybe you were supposed to be my guide around the base all along. In that case, why did you wait for me here? You should have waited outside his office. Unless, of course, I'm talking bullshit, which is likely. What should he change his mind about?
My husband. He's a ranger, and he got murdered by a pack of fiends. Goddamn savages laid his body out to rot. Brass won't say it to me straight, but they mean to leave Esteban out there. I can see that plain.
Wait a minute. Your husband was a ranger and he got killed by fiends. That's ranger as in the badasses I've been hearing about since Forlorn Hope, and fiends as in the unwatched raiders I've been killing all morning? How the fuck did that happen?
He was out on patrol. Bunch of drugged up fiends attacked them. Esteban laid down cover fire while the others fell back. One of the men saw him get shot. He didn't die, though. Not then. They tried to go back for him, but there were too many fiends and they had to pull out. Damn savages chased them halfway to McCarran.
Well, I'm sorry for your loss, but unless he was attacked by 50 of them, I really don't see how they could have killed him so easily. Or maybe I'm just Ranger caliber, who knows. So nobody has tried since to retrieve his body?
His best friend, Jackson, tried. Didn't even get permission from his CO, so it could have cost him a lot. But he never came back.
2 Rangers? Seriously? Okay, I'll stop now. But man, it's just one disappointment after another today. But surely a more coordinated group effort would be enough to push those fiends back. I mean, after all, there's no reason for those guys to die over something like this. So all it would take is for the people in charge to grow some fucking balls.
Colonel says he can't spare the men to bring Esteban back home. And the fiends, they put all kinds of mines and traps around his body. Snipers, too.
Ah, well, that's a different story. They're using his body as bait. Well, again, I'm sorry for your loss, but at the end of the day, he's already gone. What good is having his body back now unless you want to prove to the life insurance people that he's really dead?
You never lost anybody, have you? Not like this. Never had to think about that person you love all alone out there, cooking in the sun like meat. NCR never leaves a soldier behind. That's what the recruiters told us. Promised us. We believed them.
Wow, this is really not something I wanted to deal with today. Look, I'd love to help, but we were kind of in the middle of something.
You don't want to do that.
Wait, what? Why are you so interested? Oh, of course. The wife. If I don't help, you're gonna make me pay for it some other time, aren't you?
Yeah, looks that way.
Fine. Look no further, we're gonna be your retrievers for the day.
Mister, I'd about given up hope. But you've got to be careful. I don't want anybody else dying on my account. Esteban's body is laid out between some of the buildings, east of the RepCon headquarters. At least that's what his squad mates said.
There's an NCR position just north of there. It's on the way. They should be able to tell you what the situation is.
Oh, I'll tell you what the situation is. The situation is I'm still being driven around. Don't get me wrong, I like the idea of helping people, but only when it's by my terms. Well, I guess we better get this over with before some wild animal drags his body away and eats it. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if the FREEMAN'S doesn't do something like that first. People get the munchies after drugs, apparently. Well, we'll give them something to eat, alright. What is the best way to serve a buckshot sandwich anyway? That should be an interesting area of research.